We'll call to order the Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, November 19th, 2020. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Harlicker, please call the roll.
Commissioner Heikkila?
Here.
Commissioner Bradley?
Here.
Commissioner Casey?
Here.
Commissioner Geisler? Here. Commissioner Smolke via Zoom? And
Here.
there we go. And Commissioner Knobloch is not at the meeting tonight. Chair Schwartz is here.
Here. Our first order of business this evening is to adopt our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Casey, second by Geisler. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is adopted. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of our September 17th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Heikkila, second by Geisler. Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain.
Minutes are adopted with abstentions by Casey and Bradley. Our first order of business this evening is planning case 20-14, limited production and processing at 1404 Coon Rapids Boulevard. Eric Tangren. Mr. Harlicker.
Yeah, good evening, Chair and Commissioners. If you could get the PowerPoint up. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a limited production and processing, which is requires that conditional use in the Port District. What they're proposing to do is operate its electronics manufacturing facility. And this building here is part of the old ECM publishing complex. ECM is still occupying the old original office building. The applicant will be purchasing this building and occupying about 16,000 square feet of the 20,000 square feet of that building. They'll be leasing out the remainder. Their plans are to lease out the remainder of it to an office user. It's bounded by 119th on the north, Coon Rapids Boulevard on the south, medical office building here, and a mix of retail, and I think there's a glass manufacturing business on this site here. There is an access coming in off of 119th, and another one, the main entrance access point coming in off of Coon Rapids Boulevard. The company manufactures components and then puts them together for electronic circuit boards. And the hours of operation, the manufacturing component will be Monday through Thursday, 5 to 3, and then office hours are 9 to 5. Currently, they have about 14 employees, and it can fluctuate depending on their business. They've had up to 22. There is traffic, or truck traffic, deliveries, and, excuse me, coming in and out of the site. They're saying about 5 to 10 inbound per week and 5 to 10 outbound. Their thinking is they'll have 1 to 5 per day. The mornings will be deliveries, and afternoon, usually after 3, our pickup. This is the site plan here. Coon Rapids Boulevard is at this point here, with the main entrance coming in. and then around this way, and this is the entrance off of 119th with a loading dock at this point here. This is kind of the layout of the building, warehousing and manufacturing split up throughout. Parking, they're required 40 parking spaces for the building. There are 63 provided. There is a shared parking agreement and access agreement with the other parcel. That has been drafted and signed, but I don't have any documentation showing that it's been recorded yet. That would be one of the conditions, should the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit. With that, staff is recommending the commission approve the conditional use permit with the conditions that cross-access and parking agreement be recorded with the adjacent track prior to the issuance of a building permit, compliance with Title 11, and no truck maneuvering is permitted on 119th. With that, I'll answer questions, and the applicant is in the audience also.
Thank you, Mr. Harlicker. Commission, any questions for Mr. Harlicker?
Mr. Chair, might not be for Mr. Harlicker, but just for, I believe I heard you say 1404 Coon Rapids Boulevard.
1401, or 4101.
Yeah, but I think you said 1404.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just so we have it correct for the record.
All right, thank you. Any other questions possibly for Mr. Harlicker?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Casey?
So, Mr. Harlicker, was there supposedly some traffic maneuvering done that would be ready for, like we would hear about that today?
The applicant can address
Because
that.
that was an issue with,
Yep.
with the lot before, so maybe we should hear about that.
Yep.
Any other questions for Mr. Harlicker?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Geisler?
Mr. Harlicker, just to clarify, the 63 stalls that are available for parking, is that just on tract A or is that in combination between A and B?
On track day.
Just on tract A, thank
Yep.
you.
Any other questions? Petitioner like to make a comment or statement? If so, please come to the mic, give your name, address for the record, please.
Thank you. My name is Raisa Matal. I'm with Lee and Associates. I represent Veritech and Eric Tangren on the purchase and acquisition of this property. So as it relates to your question regarding the truck access, this is an item of contention that we've come across as far as it relates to how we're able to access the docking. From our understanding, as long as we're not encroaching and stopping traffic in the street, we're able to access the loading dock. One piece that we're trying to understand, and we've reached out to a few sources that worked with the previous party that tried to get approval on the CUP but was unable to reach them, was to what degree or how far are we able to go past the sidewalk to be able to gain access to the loading dock. So that is something that we're still trying to understand as of this last week. We've measured it out approximately to be 112 feet, approximately 112 feet, based on the semi-trucks that we would have and the delivery trucks. We don't see an unnecessary burden as far as it relates to safety. However, there may be times when we do have a semi-truck with a non-experienced truck driver that we may not be able to control. So that's where it would fall into for our CUP. As far as the building exterior and the interior, we're well within code, and our use and our zoning matches it. And if there are any business-related questions, the owner and CEO is here today, and he would be able to answer those.
So as far as the truck maneuvering, your contention is still to have them enter off of Coon Rapids Boulevard?
Correct. They would enter off Coon Rapids Boulevard, maneuver around the parking lot, go through the docking area, pivot forward, and then back up to the loading dock.
Thank you.
So they would be pulling up through that exit access, right? Up toward 119th, and you're saying they probably wouldn't have to go into 119th?
So that's the part where, you know, we run into this, there's a difference between a guarantee of what we know with an experienced truck driver and a driver who might be new, right? We don't have control over that necessarily. And if a driver is new and is not as experienced with the landscape or with just the ability to maneuver a truck, that's where we can't guarantee a truck driver would not have to encroach at some point onto 119th.
Briefly.
Yes. We're not causing traffic stops there, and we're not necessarily using it as an entry point to reach the loading dock. They would come off Coon Rapids Boulevard.
And mainly it's the 53-foot trailers that are the problem, right? The
Yes.
shorter bed trucks are gonna be okay?
Those would be fine. Anything with delivery, and Eric can speak to how many delivery trucks, UPS, FedEx, things like that. Short bed trucks are fine. And then the measurement shows that that would be acceptable. It would just be the larger semi trucks.
So you said the distance from the edge of the dock to the curb was how long?
It's approximately 112. We've been trying to get in touch with, is it Mohan? What was the company that you know? Menk Mohan, maybe?
I don't know.
Menk and. From the decline, yes, it's 112 from the decline, but Menk and Mohan did a study, and part of their study was it's about 100, it's just a little over 100 feet. And so we were made aware of that firm on Friday and then on Monday of this past week. So we haven't been able to get in touch with them to get their case study.
So you're saying that they'd like to be able to pull out to the curb line?
Yes,
I-
by the sidewalk.
From staff's perspective, we're fine with that.
What do you mean, pull out the curb line?
I'm guessing they come around the building and pull up towards 119th and then back into the loading bay.
Yeah.
They aren't doing any maneuvering out on 119th.
No.
Which the code prohibits. Then they can pull out because they're going forward and go down 119th to Blackfoot.
And
that
our,
wouldn't require maneuvering either, just the
They're just
exit.
pulling out and, yep.
Okay.
and our understanding is that trucks would pull out and go left onto 119th and not right.
Oh, all the trucks? Or
That
just
seems to be an odd maneuver because then you're going back through a residential neighborhood. The quickest way out is here,
Are they allowed to go that way?
this way?
The,
Oh, yeah, I would think that would be the preferred route out, because then you're out onto Blackfoot, and you can either go down to
Okay.
Coon Rapids Boulevard
So-
or right over to Round Lake.
Okay, so our current maneuver path is based off what the current owner had mentioned to us, but if there's a way that the city would prefer us to do it, and if it works, then that obviously would be something we would take into account. A lot of our due diligence is coming from our current seller.
I mean, from a staff's perspective, as long as the truck maneuvering is being done on site,
yeah,
we're okay with that.
sure,
For instance, they couldn't come down 119th and then try to back in.
correct.
Because then you're maneuvering out on the street, you're congesting traffic, you're excessive wear and tear on the street, and, disruptive to the neighbors across the street. That's the thinking behind our right, to restrict maneuvering on public streets and limit it to on-site.
Correct. So, I guess I'd be interested in hearing how many trucks you anticipate of the 53-foot trailer variety per week, if you have input, sir.
Sure. So hi, I'm Eric Tangren. I own Veritech Corporation, which is a third-generation family-owned business. We're currently in Minnetonka in about a 10,000 square foot facility. This one is substantially larger, and that reflects the growth plan that I put in place for this year. Obviously, COVID has thrown somewhat of a curveball. But we have customers that are in the pharmaceutical cold chain. We're looking for more space. So to put everything in context, that's the situation that we're currently in. Our deliveries are typically UPS and FedEx. We're an electronic manufacturer. A lot of our components come in very small boxes, and the box could contain 10,000 components. Some of our larger customers may have devices that are bigger in size that vary. Things like wire and bulk deliveries you can't ship via FedEx or UPS. So I would guess on average there could be anywhere from 1 to 3 53-foot trailers delivering per day, depending on the circumstances. I would say that 1 is common, 3 is heavy volume. As far as deliveries, some of our larger Fortune 50 companies route logistic providers through third parties. So if we're shipping components, they like to ship on pallets. So it could be that 1 truck picks up 6 pallets. It could be that 3 trucks pick up 1 pallet each, 1 going to Puerto Rico, 1 to Europe, 1 to some other facility. So I would say, as far as volumes go, 3 trucks for delivery, 3 trucks for pickups is probably the maximum that you will see. As far
Per day.
as per day.
Per day.
Per day, yes. And Raisa alluded to this. Some of the third-party truck drivers are a little unpredictable. I would suggest that on 119th Street, we put a no delivery, trucks cannot enter sign that says, you can't come in this way, get back onto Coon Rapids Boulevard, so they're not maneuvering through parked cars with a sidewalk where they have a blind spot. We put another sign right by the gate that says, trucks pull forward. We were just out there for about an hour looking at the turning radius. We feel the trucks can get in safely. And if you have a preference of going left or right, we can put a sign that says, truck, no left turn, truck, no right turn. And we can do our best to educate the drivers that we do deal with. And also, there are deliveries that come in straight trucks, which are much easier on the roads and things like that. So that's the situation we're in. I wish I had a better answer on exact volumes. We're a custom critical manufacturer for several different customers, and it's very difficult to predict among all of our customers what the volumes will look like. If you have a preference or anything, or any other questions, let me know.
So you're saying about 3 per day for delivery and pickup?
And that's on a heavy volume day.
Okay.
We try to aggregate our
Of
shipments.
those 3, what percentage of them out of the 3, 1 would be a semi, the other 2 straight, or?
So I mean, today, for example, we had UPS and FedEx drop off. We had FedEx pick up, not UPS. We had a shipment that was on a straight truck going to Europe. So if there's only 1 skid, some third-party providers send a straight truck, so short U-Haul essentially. And then we did have 1 truck comp that was a 53-foot. They don't have sleeper cabs on them, so they're turning radius. This is all LTL delivery, so less than truckload delivery. And they're essentially just driving from our facility to a freight forwarder. So I would say 3 each is a heavier day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for petitioner? All right, thank you. We may have more later.
Okay, let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
All right, at this time I will, excuse me, go ahead.
Sorry, as it relates to the CUP and the truck access and encroachment documents, so would the city be more in favor, if they reach a decision that's positive, for us to draft up an affidavit outlining kind of how we see this process working, so that we do have something documented before we can close on our property?
Mr. Harlicker?
I would refer to our attorney in the sky on that one.
My only ask is because we're all on the same page, since this is a business that'll probably be in your city for many decades to come, adding jobs, so we'd like to be on good terms with the city.
If I might, Mr. Chair,
Go right ahead, sir.
I don't think an affidavit can hurt, but frankly, given the condition attached to approval, I'm not all that concerned. As long as the applicant is comfortable with the fact that that's a condition of approval, that they not utilize the street in the manner we've talked about, that's where it's at. And then it's up to us for enforcement thereafter.
And what does reinforcement consist of or look like if for some reason there is any stepping out of bound?
You're most likely looking at an administrative citation.
Okay. So if it would work, we're more than happy to provide a draft for review from the council. to provide comments to just make sure that we're on the same page and we're conveying our use in the correct manner. Whether it's, anything formal or not, I think having it down would just be helpful for us to understand where we draw the line and where we stand as well. And I can pass that on to Scott as well.
Certainly.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, at this time, I will open a public hearing in planning case 20-14, limited production and processing at 4101 Coon Rapids Boulevard. Anyone wish to speak at the public hearing? Anyone wish to speak at the public hearing? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Commission thoughts?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Geisler.
As far as the applicant has outlaid this, the fact that we're already leaning into the entry and exit of how they want to flow traffic through there, I think addresses a lot of our concerns from the previous time that this site was considered, especially the willful desire to put up a sign to say, hey, truck traffic flows this way. I think we can all recognize that a truck driver can do what a truck driver wants to do and ignore posted signage and/or traffic laws as they see fit. And I wouldn't expect the applicant to be able to fully control that. I would also expect that the neighbors, if they had a problem, they would be able to contact the city, and as stated, they would have that conversation. So I'm looking at this as this is a more favorable approach. The applicant has thought about it, has approached it, how to manage the traffic flow. And, as far as LTL shipments go, in my professional experience, the freight forwarder sends what the freight forwarder sends, whether it's a straight truck or an articulated truck. They have no control over that, whether they're picking up one pallet or 50. That's where you're looking at it. So I think the applicant has controlled what they can control here, and it makes a lot of good sense.
Do we want to put a condition as far as any of that signage, or just leave it up to the petitioner?
In my opinion, I think the applicant has enough incentive to manage that themselves from an administrative citation issue, and I think they've got, as we've had discussions with previous sites, private traffic flow is private traffic flow. I don't think we need to control that too much here, other than I think that they know what they need to do to make it work.
I agree with that. I think the bases are covered. Maybe we should put that to the attorney in the sky, just to see if he's okay with that, Blair. Are you?
I think we can handle this without adding additional conditions.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else, any comments? All right, we have someone to make a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of planning case 20-14, limited production and processing at 4101 Coon Rapids Boulevard, Eric Tangren, with the following conditions. 1, a cross-access and parking agreement be recorded with the adjacent tract prior to the issuance of a building permit. 2, compliance with Title 11 of City Code. 3, no truck maneuvering is permitted on 119th Avenue.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Geisler, and actually Commissioner Bradley got in there first, so we'll give him the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is a decision by the planning commission and can be appealed to the city council within 10 days if someone so chooses. Otherwise, good luck.
Thank you for coming in.
And moving on to other business. Mr. Harlicker, you have anything for other
Chair,
business?
Commissioners, nothing new. We've got a lot of projects that are currently under construction. I think everything that the commission has approved over the past few months is currently under construction. Caribou Coffee, the townhouses, Both of those indoor storage facilities are nearing completion. The famous Dave site is currently under construction. They are changing that slightly. The multi-tenant building is going to be just a larger one-tenant building. So they're reducing the size of that a little bit, so they're modifying the north elevation, so it's not just a blank wall. So that's underway. That's really, it'll start slowing down now once, there's a big rush for everybody to get the footings and foundations in.
Sure.
So they can get that in before it freezes up.
Mr. Harlicker, are you saying those townhomes over by Hoover?
Correct.
Is it Hoover? They're underway.
Yep.
I haven't driven by there, but, okay. Do we have anything on the agenda for December?
We have, Commission will be considering a subdivision exemption and a conditional use permit for a physical fitness facility to move into the back part of the Rapid Sports building over on 111th and Coon Rapids Boulevard. The archery place is in the front. They'll be occupying the back part of that building. And physical fitness facilities are a conditional use permit in the port.
Okay, thank you.
And Commission, anyone with anything for other business?
No, we should all be very, very fit. We have so many fitness centers.
Seems odd to be opening up one when in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, just as the governor's closing them all.
Yeah. Maybe for a short duration only, hopefully.
All right, having no other business,
I would move that we adjourn.
Second.
motion by Casey, second by Heikkila, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.